We're talking magic school. I think the place to start is perception. Because if you don't perceive magic as a possibility, it ain't gonna be part of your world. So, perception is lesson one, because in order to perceive anything as even possible, or even begin to see the world of magic, you gotta unlock it up here. The way to start that is actually something I learned tracking animals in the woods. Of course, taught by the forest, true to Druid form, to observe-based reality. Observe, absorb. So, our brains, our subconscious, create all these preconceived ideas and try to make these patterns based on these things. So when we walk into a room and we see certain body language, hear people talk certain ways, our brain is associating these to other instances we've experienced. The problem with this is often we perceive our memories through our perception. So we're only seeing what we think is going on in the room. Now we can change that by observing and absorbing. And it's a long and arduous process. That's why we're starting with this one. So, it all begins with taking a notebook, going and sitting at a coffee shop, or somewhere you like where there's people. You need to have people around. It's easiest to do this exercise with human beings because they're the most readily available to observe. The reason I say coffee shop is because you can't do this on your parents or your best friends, because you've got so many preconceived ideas up there. It's going to be really hard to break that down. Observe them. How do they wait in line? Everything you notice that you feel and you see and you think, I want you to write down. Body language is a great one, and how they talk to the person they're ordering from. Is as you learn to observe, you're going to notice contradictions. So you'll notice patterns in things, but they're so much deeper and more complex than anything we could ever really imagine. It's important to really stay present with the observation and absorption. Whew. Sorry, this spot's a little sketchy. Switch hands. And yeah, it's a little steep, but it's a great way to get to a beautiful, beautiful view. Okay, look at this. Isn't that beautiful? As you teach your brain to observe and absorb, it's gonna start to build profiles more distinctly and less generalized. So like something I noticed tracking deer is like deer behavior can vary massively from one area to another. So I really can't trust much on the behavioral patterns unless I know a certain deer pack, an area. And then I'm gonna be able to trust even more where they find water, where they find food, where they sleep. And I'm gonna learn the patterns of their reality, who they truly are at their spirit. And as I learn that, you start to be able to appreciate and understand things for what they truly, truly are. Woo! Not what we think they are. Okay, so I know you're probably wondering, Fluid Druid, what is so important about the way I think and magic? Okay, well, I'm gonna lay it out for you really simple. Ooh, these rocks are slippery with the snow on them. So, your perception creates your reality, and the reality you create is the reality you live. So, for instance, if I perceived myself as incapable of jumping in that pool and surviving without hypothermia, you know what would happen? I would jump in there. Woo! Okay, I would jump in there, my body would go into shock, and I would probably die. And this applies to magic too. So, you see, as you perceive more of this world of magic, spirits, energy, the beauty, you also perceive more of the ugly, the darkness, the things that aren't necessarily your friends, because as you perceive this world, you become more a part of it. This is one of the reasons I've withdrawn from the world of magic many times, is I ran into some heavy shit I wasn't prepared to deal with, and no one really prepared me to deal with. And we'll cover that later, but for now, let's just worry about seeing things for what they are. Perceive the world as you're supposed to see it, not as you're taught to see it.